Today is Sunday the 6th of March 2016, and this is the Q Podcast. Joining me today are my compadres Patrick Figueroa.
What is going on?
And Christian Elariaga.
What's up?
Patrick, before the podcast, you were enlightening us on the famed export of Louisiana, the crawfish.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a chance to ask you if you liked crawfish.
I've lived here for actually a year now, starting March 2nd.
Wow.
I've lived here.
You've been baptized.
I have been a literal baptism. There are people throwing holy water on the streets.
That's vodka, Patrick.
Oh god, it's either vodka or it is holy water. Knowing this state, it's one or the other. Maybe both at the same
Why
time.
not both? Yeah.
People are crazy down here.
Holy
I haven't actually had raw crawfish, or like when you, not raw, but crawfish boil. Haven't had it. I've had it in
like a shelled crawfish where they like crack it open and
yeah, where you're like, the tradition is like you get like a picnic table, you've got like a humongous like pot, a crawfish pot, and like you would just boil it, and then you throw it all over the picnic table, and you just like spend 6 hours eating it.
Yeah.
I have not been to one of those, but
I just discovered one near where I work. I had boiled crawfish for the first time in my life like a couple months ago. It's
unique.
Yeah, it's like unique, and it's complicated. Like there's a lot going on with the crawfish.
I mean, you only aim for the tails.
If you're a casual.
Well, I mean, it's the easiest part.
Right,
like,
right.
There's not much meat anywhere else, from what I understand.
No, there's really not anything else to eat. But like, I work with a lot of people from LA, Lower Alabama, and they like were explaining to me like how you suck the head, and like there's all these like organs or whatever on the inside that like looks like feces, but it's hard to distinguish between what is like really don't want to eat and what is like just stuff that's been collected in the boil and like melted inside the crawfish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I just ate the tails, but
I was telling y'all earlier, like, we had someone who's lived here for his whole life tell us, like, outsiders, if they really knew where crawfish came from or where you could get crawfish, like, you wouldn't eat it, because you could like go to any just like sewer drain that's like it's Louisiana, so there's flooding everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, just in those little ditches, like, into the sewer, like, in a patch of grass, you could put a trap down there, and you would get a bunch of them. Like,
it's the crustacean, or the catfish of the crustacean world.
Yeah.
Just like,
yeah. And that's another thing we're really famous for.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
Catfish and crawfish.
That's pretty good. Oh, crawfish isn't even a fish. That just occurred to me.
Yeah. It's
didn't they
probably
call
our
them
fault that we
crawdads?
named it that way. We don't still know the difference. But, that's how it is.
Life's mysteries.
Life's mysteries.
All right, well, what have you been up to, Patrick?
So I cracked under the pressure, guys. I bought one.
When you say pressure, you mean self-imposed.
No, this is not my fault. This is entirely your fault.
It's peer pressure. It's peer
You guys
pressure.
were hounding me. Like, texts every day. Patrick, get a 3DS. Patrick, get a new 3DS. Patrick, get a It's like you guys wouldn't stop.
You built this fortress on your with your own bare hands.
And so yesterday, I went out and bought it because you guys were just like, Patrick, we're not going to be your friends anymore if you don't buy it. So I bought one. I hope you guys are happy.
You caved to the peer pressure.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of this. I don't even know what could have happened. But
oh, I mean, guys, I have the evidence. So. But no, I bought it, and I haven't had a handheld since the Game Boy Advance SP.
That was a classic.
Yeah, it's like the iteration after the Game Boy Advance. So I'm like 3 or 4 iterations behind, right, Christian? Would you say?
Give or take, yeah.
DS, DSi,
Then the 3DS.
3DS
Yep.
XL.
Yeah, I mean, that must have been 10 years ago, probably.
Yeah, it's crazy. A lot has changed. I mean, just like setting up, it's just like a console. You got to connect to the internet. You got to do software updates. Hounds you with notifications about like, oh, activate this, turn this on. Do you want to get messages from our advertisements?
It's just like a console, but it has all these really bizarre Nintendo like character like flavors everywhere. Just like these really like you're me. I won't steal your thunder, but
no, flavors is the perfect way, because like there's like a little guy that like looks like a menu, and he like pops up and says, "Let me help you," and you can click on me if you need help, and it's like. It's
Thanks, man.
nostalgic. Like yeah, it's nostalgic. I haven't had a Nintendo experience in a while, and it's I don't know. It feels good, man. It feels
It's
good.
Nintendo's version of Clippy from Microsoft Word.
It really is, except he's competent, you know. But
Nintendo is a warm blanket.
so I got 2 games with it. I got Fire Emblem Fates and Animal Crossing New Leaf. 2 very different games and not like the most. I don't know. Like when you say 3DS, like oh you're gonna get Mario. So I got Fire Emblem Fates because I've never played a Fire Emblem game, and I wanted to experience one, and I heard like Birthright is a very good way to start and jump in. I'm probably 2 or 3 hours in. Dude, this game is like 90% visual novel.
Dude, I didn't even know you were playing it. Oh, I'm excited to hear about this.
Yeah, this game it's like, and maybe it's because I'm still in the tutorial phase, but like the missions are really easy. Your compatriots are like super
overpowered.
They're overpowered, so like your character doesn't even need to do that much.
Yep.
I think Birthright is the easier of the
It is.
the 2 Fates games.
I was explaining it to Christian that Conquest is the tougher one, and they're technically, it's not like, for those who don't know, Fire Emblem Fates was released in 2 different versions, Birthright and Conquest, but it's not like Pokemon Red and Blue. They are totally different games, and they are like the same story from different sides of the conflict that you're trying to, choose between. So it's weird because like you finish those battles, it like takes 2 turns, and then it's like so many cutscenes and talking.
Right. How Japanese is that game?
Dude, that game is hella Japanese.
Super.
Like
Every guy looks like a girl. Everyone has long hair.
And there's this one character whose boobs are just all over the place, and she just calls you my baby, and it's like,
oh my
God,
gosh,
what is happening?
It's like anime mixed with turn-based, mixed with visual,
It
novel.
really is.
That actually is that's formulaic of the Fire Emblem series, though. The introduction is what'll happen is they'll have the introduction. You'll get this nice little intro to the characters you're playing. You have the main character you're playing, and then you have usually like a teacher type of unit.
Yeah.
And that unit will be one of the most overpowered things you'll get from the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And you could use that unit alone to pretty much wipe out the very first couple of missions.
Yeah, or at least in this case, he's ally controlled, so I can't even control him.
Oh, okay.
He just like goes around and does his own thing.
What the fuck?
I'm like trying to learn like, okay, what's the support system? Like, I can put 2 people on top of each other, but then the other guy doesn't get to attack or something. And meanwhile, this guy is like he's just like running through the whole map. I'm like, okay,
I think it's like a 30 to 50 hour game, right? I
think it's supposed to be very long.
Yeah.
And
It's pretty hefty, yeah.
I've started cracking at the depth. Like, I've got like 6 characters, and in this game, and as I read more into it, it's a lot about like making relationships with people.
Yeah, it's
like
not even for the advancement of the game, but for the sake of the relationships themselves.
Yeah, there's like a guy at home base that like you can like pair any 2 characters and say what is the relationship between these 2, and the guy will like tell you, he's like, well, this one likes to tell about their childhood and this one likes to listen, and it's like, what? And like you can like when you put them together, their like bond increases, and I don't know. I feel like I'm cracking like the outmost layer of a Fire Emblem game. I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
I love how little you know going in, like what the norms are and stuff.
Yeah, I like to try to do that, but also the problem is like a game like this, the depth is slowly showing itself, and I'm like, am I gonna miss out on something? I don't know. It's
because you didn't know going into it.
Yeah, just because you didn't know. But I also like being like surprised by these kinds of things.
It's kind of reminiscent of the other JRPG that you really got into was Suikoden.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. I need that release.
And I guess I would ask Christian this: is there something about Fire Emblem that would make it have more Western appeal than the typical Japanese games, or is it just one of the best of that like genre?
It's probably nowadays the only one left of its genre.
Right, because it just
The turn-based JRPG.
so it's almost like people get excited about this because there aren't as many to get excited about, not because it's different in any
I think it's a
meaningful
little
way.
bit of both. I mean, one, there's the fact that there's not many competitors, so whatever Fire Emblem decides to do, it'll always be unique if they change the formula up piece by piece.
Right.
And then,
So
you know,
no, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say the other thing is, a lot of people are just really big fans of the series, so it was it was probably all timing that Fire Emblem itself got a name in the US, and that's what they decide to port over now because it's already got a following, and it's really hard for a JRPG to kind of come into the US market and make sales.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's got name recognition. We played Marth in Super Smash Brothers, and
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
mean,
people, yeah,
In Super Smash Bros. Melee, I was like, who the fuck is Marth and Roy? Like,
yeah,
why are they sharing a fucking same screen as Mario?
Mm.
But it's not weird. I don't like. I don't mean to say it is weird. It's just that has this game ever been on like the main consoles?
They
Like,
have Fire Emblems on the Wii.
okay, on Wii. Okay, and it's the same kind of thing.
Hmm.
Because I feel like this game could be very cool if they went full blown.
Like Dynasty Warriors style? Yeah.
No. Not well. Maybe that'd be like a cool spin-off, but
like Final Fantasy style.
like Final Fantasy, just like effects with this kind of.
Oh yeah, yeah. So they do have releases like that. The
Okay.
Wii editions are like your full 3D model kind
Okay.
of sprawling landscapes. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I mean, the other one, Awakening, that was like from 2012 or 2013. But that one was on the 3DS. I don't know when the latest Wii or Wii U one was done, but I just like hadn't heard of like I'd always heard of Awakening, but I'd never heard of the other iterations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did have a console release, so there was
Okay.
at least one.
Yeah, and like I know, like the only stuff I know about Fire Emblem is just the stuff that I was reading about when I was researching what to get for the 3DS, and like I think Awakening kind of was credited with bringing back that series like in a big way, and that game was super well received.
Yeah, it's ranked higher on Metacritic than Birthright or Conquest.
But they're all highly ranked, right?
Oh yeah, they're all up there.
Yeah.
A great game. Can't wait to get into it. Because I mean, Ben, we tweeted about this. I'm getting a little burnt out on my walking simulators.
Dude, I'm like crisped. I'm like I can't even like. There's nothing left to cook. That's how burnt out I am.
I don't want to talk about it till I finish it, but I've gotten through the Wendy and Jeremy chapters of Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. The first two chapters, basically.
Right.
And like, how much would you say I have left? Two more?
There's 5.
Okay. So,
I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's 5.
fuck, that's so many.
Dude, that's like a 3-hour game.
I know, but it just felt like you walk so fucking slow and you don't do anything. Don't get me wrong, there are some really cool moments in that game. But let me finish the game before I go off.
Yeah, I mean the story is so obtuse. Like,
Yeah.
All right, but yeah.
Actually, you know what? In relation to that, how different is it going back to the handheld kind of control scheme and everything? Because the games you're playing, are actually really different from what you've been playing recently.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
mostly
So
console and PC based.
two things for that. One, Ben knows I don't really like playing mobile games. I play them, but like I don't really enjoy them. The first thing I notice when playing with my 3DS is that hunching over like this, or if the audience doesn't know, it's just like you're bending your neck down and like looking down. It's like something that I used to do as a kid, right? Like,
Right.
it's like when you sit on you go crisscross applesauce and your Game Boy would be on your lap and you would play.
Yep.
I noticed it pretty quick that like I'd have to like stretch my back and like move my neck, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I can't play this way anymore. Like it.
My
uh,
hand cramps too, because
This thing is fucking heavy.
it's
man.
not ergonomic either. Like you have to kind of the buttons.
Mhm.
It doesn't form to the inside of your hand. You're just kind of like crunched into it.
See, that's why, like, okay, so I solved that. Granted, I had to get an external peripheral for that, but I mean, I told you guys when I was playing Monster Hunter, I needed that extra joystick on the side, so I picked up that attachment.
My
That
God,
looks so comfortable.
That looks.
Yeah,
See, that's
so
what
this
yeah.
this actually melds to my hand, so when
That's
I'm playing, it's
ergonomic
actually
as-
a lot easier.
That's ergonomic as fuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys use the stylus?
I hate the
use your finger.
stylus.
Very rarely.
I
Very
try to
rarely.
use my finger because
The finger. I
it
don't
doesn't
know.
work very well.
It doesn't. Like when I have the stylus in my hand, I like to have the stylus like tucked behind the DS, like in my hand, so if I need it, I can move it. But like
Where is the stylus located on the new ones? It's on the bottom, right?
it's on the
Right.
bottom,
Oh, okay.
towards the
So that's
right
why.
side.
It's not in a terrible spot. It's just a fucking stylus, and styluses are the worst.
No,
Yeah.
but it's a little weird because the way they did it on the original 3DS XL was it's located pretty close to
Yeah.
where you'd be
Accessible.
playing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think it's inaccessible. I think it's just
Yeah.
it's just
It's just-
different.
It's
Yeah.
using a
spot.
stylus. Another thing I want to add to 3DS in general, their suspension, like app suspension, is awesome.
yeah.
Like, it's like there's a cutscene in Fire Emblem, and I was like, I wanted to test like their suspension program, so I like closed it up, like waited a couple seconds, and I opened it up, like immediate response, and like right from the moment I closed it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like let's bring it all back. It was like bang, and I was like, is that gonna be burning extra battery, or is it like really suspended? Or
It does burn battery because when I'm like sleeped or suspended, I'll come back in a few days and it'll be dead. But you got to think of like the demographic too. Like they're picturing people on taking this on the bus, and then they
Yeah.
gotta like hop off the bus real fast and get on like a transportation and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like it definitely does have some unique
could-
advantages.
It could probably go about 2 to 3 days,
Yeah.
and then you'll have to
That's
recharge
suspension.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
But
yeah.
honestly,
that's still
even
really-
it does have a save state, so even if it does die, when you bring it back, there should be that
be-
save state still there.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I like
Not
that
to
a lot.
mention the ability for you to just like tap your home button and then do a couple things on the menu while your game just kind of pauses idle in the back
Yeah.
is really nice.
It's
Yeah.
really easy. The other thing is I think the XL is like the perfect size. I can't imagine having
Anything
a
smaller.
smaller one that would have to kind of
Mhm.
hold closer to my face.
Okay. I got two more things I want to say about this because it's my only thing. I've found uses for the 3D.
Really?
I think the 3D is kind of cool.
What?
No, we gotta hear
this.
this now.
Yeah.
Some of the Fire Emblem cutscenes, if you pop on that 3D, they look fucking amazing. I am actually very impressed with like just like how cool some of this 3D stuff is. I think like during the actual game it kind of sucks because the layers they hurt my eyes cuz like when like, someone's talking, you know, in RPGs like
And the
you have
text.
the text and then like whatever's happening in the background that
Yeah.
doesn't meld well with the 3D. But like during like cutscenes and like just even fight scenes, and the fact that you can just slide it up for just like 2 seconds and slide it back down.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And
It
it's
is quick.
seamless.
It is seamless and quick.
It's not like you don't have to go into an options and like turn it off, turn it off. That's like that'd be fucking annoying as shit.
The slider
Um,
is right there.
The slider being right there next to the screen, and I'll just like experimenting, like, oh, this could look cool in 3D. Pop it up. Oh, fuck that. Turn it off.
Dude, that's
like-
cool. I didn't even think about how it could have been so much worse implemented. Like that it is so seamless, and you can just try it, and you can vary the degree. Like
Yeah.
It
No,
doesn't
the
have-
degree
yeah,
really does affect it. So I don't know if you're watching a cutscene or something, just try fucking with it. It
Yeah.
could be really cool.
I think I will. The new before you get to the next point too, the new 3DS also has a more advanced 3D. It's got like head tracking. Which I
Yes,
think-
it does. Like if I move like back and forth, like shit gets fucked up. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
stop.
it can reevaluate a little bit, like the first one can.
And then I also got Animal Crossing because that game is fucking awesome.
I feel like I remember playing that game for the N64 like many moons ago. It's kind of like the original Farmville, right?
It's Farmville.
It's
man.
OG Farmville.
It's OG Farmville, and it's so fucking Japanese. it's so great.
That's
Just
funny.
like fucking weird characters and just like perpetual optimism.
Yes,
you just
everyone's
can't, like-
super happy.
You just can't not smile when this guy comes up to you saying like, "Sup, bro? I'm super pumped about today. How about you?" And you have like three options that are like, "Me too, bro." He's like, "I'm okay," or like, "No thanks." And it's like you're not gonna say no thanks or be mean. And he's like, "How did I look in this tank top?" And you're just like, "Fucking fantastic, dude." And you're like, "Oh wow, thanks."
I love like you're describing a game right now. Like it doesn't even sound like what is the point of it all? But that's
It's crazy because
that's funny.
there is no point.
yeah.
And like with that game, it continues as the day goes by. Like there's not like when you open it up at night, it's night. If the shops are closed, you can't go to them. Like shit opens up at 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know. You can only you can honestly only, at least from where I've played. I've only been playing for like 2-3 days, but you can only get like an hour and a half before like you've really done everything for that day, and then you've got to
Yeah.
like put it away, because like the shops will restock and you can get something new tomorrow, or like, oh well, this guy needs your building will be finished tomorrow, and like I know it sounds like Farmville and like all those other kind of games, but there's a charm to this that doesn't feel like I have to advance through microtransactions. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm okay with playing an hour, not even an hour. You could like if you just wanted to do your dailies, you could just like have a blast for 30 minutes and just like I don't know.
And I appreciate that in a handheld because one of the things I was thinking about doing, if I wasn't so damn hungry in the mornings, is like waking up on a Saturday and just not even getting out of bed, just like grabbing the 3DS and just playing for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is another like really cool pro for the handheld is that you really just kind of you lean over and you're just okay, I'll just crack it open and play for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in that
It's so
suspension
nice.
mode, if it's so fast, like it's not even like, oh, I gotta go boot it up. I gotta go.
Nice. It's funny. I like hearing like, because we just both got them so recently and had like really specific things that we noticed that I wouldn't have even thought about in that way. So that's fun.
It's. I'm just saying, guys. I know you guys like bothered the shit out of me, but I'm glad you did. Glad you guys sent me a letter, a handwritten letter, and a telegram. Like a guy showed up and he was like, da 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 da, stop, buy 3DS, stop, signed Christian and Ben.
Notarized with a wax seal.
Exactly. Delivered by bird. So.
Carrier
That's good.
pigeons, man, way of the future.
All right, Ben. What'd you do this week?
I didn't play as many games this week. For whatever reason, I've been just kind of busy getting ready to move. I finally finished that Console Wars book on my Kindle that I've been reading for forever. And it was kind of fantastic because like the whole book was about like almost the like petty battle between Sega and Nintendo, like posturing themselves as like wholesome and for the kids and about quality, and Sega was for the cool kids, the next generation. We don't take the blood out of Mortal Kombat. And that was all just really interesting and good. And it's just the way the book ended with the launch of the PS1. And it was just like
Shit,
Mike.
I love that.
It was like mic drop, just
Shots
like
fired.
just like boom, like just blew
Holy shit.
everyone out of the water. And it just kind of ends, and it's just like
Did the PS1?
the PS.
I don't know. See, is that a whole nother book in its own? Like Sony and Nintendo.
I don't think that it is, but I think the Sega Nintendo one was unique in that video games had died in America in the early 80s, like when the Atari crash happened, and Nintendo resurrected it with the Famicom or the NES, and they had 90% of the market share.
Yeah.
And then so Sega had this just really cool underdog story, and it was like mano y mano.
Is that about like the Genesis, I would assume?
Yes, exactly. So yeah, like I don't think any like phase from then on out in terms of console wars was that focused, like that simple of a story.
Yeah.
So that just lent itself to a very straight
Do you think
narrative.
we're making any of those stories now?
Definitely, but I think they're more complicated. There's a lot more market forces. There's a lot, like the user base is so segregated across so many different types of gamer. But Sony just like so Sega Saturn was launched and it was just like a flop. And like Sony had been betrayed by Nintendo, who was going to work with them to co-make a system, and then they backed out.
Like
and then,
with the disc system.
Yeah.
And they said, fuck it, we'll do our own.
Yeah, and then so like at that the book ended with the Saturn coming out and Sega just like dive bombing the PS1 and then the N64. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. IEM Katowice is a Intel Extreme Masters gaming tournament in Poland. It's really cool to see StarCraft like coming back in a big way from Legacy of the Void. I really enjoyed watching that tournament. I watched some debates this week because I love myself and that's what you do.
Because you wanted to have a good time this week.
Yeah. And then the Oscars were last Sunday, right after we did the
Yeah.
podcast.
Finally,
Leo won his Oscar.
and we can finally move on.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen? I mean, there's a bunch of fake subreddits, like things Jon Snow knows, and there's like no posts in the subreddit. Or one of them used to be Leo's Oscar cabinet, and then it used to say there's nothing here.
Oh,
Like
that's
the subreddit
good.
just wouldn't have anything. I bet you that subreddit's got one thing in it now.
A lot of people are wondering if it's gonna like change the way he takes movies, because it felt like he was taking Oscar bait roles for a long time. The other things of note were Mad Max cleaned up the technical categories, and George Miller did not win Best Director, and it didn't win Best Movie, which I thought was kind of bullshit.
And Star Wars was completely shut out.
I am holy shit.
The director of Revenant won the Best Director, and
the Spanish guy.
Yeah, that's like his third straight year after Gravity and Birdman. And then Best Movie was Spotlight. Yeah.
That's the one about the church, right?
Right, it's about the investigative journalist that broke the Catholic Church sex scandal thing.
Dude, you wanted to watch that like thousands of episodes ago.
I'm going to watch it tonight.
Oh, nice.
Or like right after this podcast.
The who won Best Actor, Best Actress? I guess Leo won Best Actor.
Best Actress was...
Oh, the girl from Ex Machina, but that one didn't win for Ex Machina.
Yeah, I had stopped. I fell asleep. I know the girl from...
she went supporting. My bad. No.
Yeah, no, the supporting was... Yeah, I guess that was that girl.
Yeah.
She was good. But no, I think it was the girl from... Oh, wow. I was just asleep, and I didn't remember. But,
No.
And
I'll keep...
Brie Larson for Room. Room... Is it just called Room?
I think it's just called Room.
Yeah. Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies. Alicia Vikander for The Danish Girl. I haven't seen any of these movies. That's why they're so hard to remember. But yeah, I mean, and then also just every single joke for the entire 4-hour Oscars was about diversity. Like Chris Rock came out like swinging,
hard.
Like a lot of them were really funny. A lot of them were like okay. Some of them were like bold and cool. Like it's cool they did that. It's kind of like a weird thing. Like it's like how do they like a lot of people were kind of critiquing it that like all these white people like benefiting from the system are like laughing at these jokes when like it's like what is this all like? It doesn't matter if nothing changes. If you know, you can't just laugh at yourself and make it okay or make fun of yourself. Like that doesn't make you like a martyr or whatever.
Doesn't fix the problem.
Right. And I thought the other weird thing was like every single joke was about the lack of black people in movies, but like minorities are so much more than just
it wasn't
black people.
Necessarily the lack of diversity, it was the lack of black people.
Yeah, and like that's such an interesting cultural phenomenon in the US right now that like Black Lives Matter and like institutional, it's just like I have like had discussions with like friends about this, and it's I don't even want to bring it up because it's just like we're not sociologists, we have no idea what we're talking about.
No, it reminds me of that Masters of None episode where he's like, black people just got there when they're talking about like why can't more than one Indian be on a show without it becoming an Indian show.
Yeah,
it's like black people just got it. And...
yeah, it's like you better pay your dues.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, all in all, it was an entertaining Oscars. And we'll talk about diversity later with the Ghostbusters trailer.
Oh man.
Oh, that's what you're gonna bring up. Okay.
Yep.
That's another topic.
How about you, Christian? What did you do last week?
Okay, so Cooked, which was that cooking documentary that we sort of kind of texted about.
The food porn.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Well, like, how did we describe it? It was like the pompous hipster cooking show.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
I mean, that's really what it is. It's interesting for what it is, but he tries to go like way too deep.
So I guess like set the stage for what the show is.
So it's a 4-episode cooking documentary on Netflix by some guy whose name I don't even bother to remember right now, about the 4 basic elements, I guess, which would be like fire, water, earth, and wind, something like that.
That's from Avatar.
And how they relate to cooking. So the very first episode was
it's already
fire.
pretentious, just like right there.
Exactly.
Like that's already just like All right, like earth, wind, fire, like how that's the source of all of our cooking culture. Like, all right.
Yeah. So, it's so weird because it's definitely pushing an agenda from the very first episode where he talks about like how animals are treated in these slaughterhouses and how you should get your pork from people who do it like homegrown farmers.
Some
And
grass-fed
it's
vegetables.
yeah, pretty much. It's it was super pretentious. But
It's
I mean, it was interesting because you get to learn a little bit about certain types of history.
it's just very cluttered.
Hmm.
Okay, is this about fire? Is this about farming? Is this about you and like your book and your ego?
Yeah. And then
uh,
like all of a sudden we go to this, this black guy who's talking about how he learned his recipe for barbecue from his grandfather who was a slave and how does
yeah,
that
it's
tie
just
into
like,
fire?
yeah, like what? Like what? Like this is it's all like very well shot and expensively produced, but it's just like what am I watching? Like I don't. And it's Michael Pollan, who's well known for I think he did The Omnivore's Dilemma, which is like kind of a controversial book about like the way that we eat.
Meat.
Yeah. Have you seen any of them other than The Fire? Have you seen Water, Air,
I watched the
Earth?
whole series.
Which
Yeah.
was the strongest episode?
The strongest one in terms of like
Which one was
impact,
just
Of
the best?
enjoyment,
Yeah.
like, because
enjoyment.
I watched Fire and I just didn't continue on with Water, Air, and Earth, but I don't know if I should jump to one of them just to see some cool shots.
I think, honestly, I think there wasn't one episode that really stood out as the best among them, but each of them had like certain parts that were really, really interesting. Like the next episode was, I think
Water,
was it Water? Okay.
yeah, it
That
was,
one is where they featured like a whole bunch of the culture from India, and you got to learn a lot about, like the history of Indian cuisine, which was really super interesting actually. So, I mean,
Because
each one of
water,
them has a
because of what it does to my stomach after. Poop
yeah,
jokes.
pretty much.
Poop
It's
jokes.
gosh, that Fire one though, like, they had this whole
Super pretentious.
segment with this like, and not this. It was like it used to be an indigenous tribe in Australia, and now you can tell it's just these people like living in like poverty.
Yeah.
But like every weekend they go out because they've been like forced assimilation into modern culture. They still will go out and camp and like catch some lizards and cook them over a fire.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck is
I think
going
that was
on?
the
Like,
intro.
it was the intro and they like revisited it. But I was like, this is like sad. But like, what does this have to do with like cooking? And
Right.
like, are we supposed to be like? He's like trying to celebrate like
Right.
our Paleolithic like our origin story. But these people, it's just like this group of 4 people that were just like, I don't know. I just didn't come together.
It's best
for me.
summed up by the way he tries to incorporate it because it was some part in the middle of that episode where he created like a dome out of tinfoil. And he
Yeah.
was trying to cook that way, and
And
you
his,
could tell
like-
because it's like, okay, these people suffered, and they're still suffering, and this is all going down, but you're over here cracking a beer.
In his like $1 million Berkeley house, like with his fucking
His
what's the
super
name of
pretentious friends.
what's the name of that like garden place that like sells you Pikes? He's got his like it looks
Yeah.
like a greenhouse at Pikes as his backyard with his like
Yeah.
Bay Area friends, and they're like, let's barbecue and get in touch with fucking fire. It's just like, all right, pal.
And then they were like bitching about how long it takes to heat up past a certain degree because he was
Ugh.
like, "Oh yeah, it's dropping temperature. Let's just get a grill."
But it's so well shot that it is like enjoyable to watch because it's just great. Like
I really would like to know the production value for that because
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
absolutely stunning.
I mean, it's just fun to see the food and the farming and the pigs and whatnot. But
Yeah.
just the narrative is silly.
Yeah, it's terrible. The one other thing that I had was the Seven Deadly Sins, which was I actually didn't even know this was the first one that Netflix produced, but it was their first anime production, and they did it based on uh, a long running by now comic series from one of the bigger publishers in Japan. And I just watched it to get a feel for how Netflix does anime. It's a little too cartoony compared to what you see in modern day with like Sword Art Online and other
Based
types of-
on the story or how it's
Just the art style.
drawn? Okay.
yeah,
That's
just
animated.
the art style. Yeah, the way it's animated is
So, I don't know a lot about animation, which I wish I did. So Netflix probably just hired a studio to do it, right?
It's what it looks like.
So like with their $96 million budget, or however much that we reported on a couple of weeks ago, like I guess they were just testing the waters. Is this well received? Because there's a lot of anime on Netflix.
It's
And I
rated pretty
imagine
highly
a
on
lot of
theirs,
people
but
watch anime
yeah,
on Netflix. I bet you a lot of
they have a
people
lot of series.
do. Yeah.
It's I mean, it's very highly rated on Netflix. I don't know about how that really is affected by the viewership, but I mean, if it's got, about 4 stars, it's still pretty stellar then.
Yeah. Well, the thing with those stars though, that's recommended for you though, right?
Is
Like
it?
they changed those stars based on what you've watched
I forgot
and how
about
you
that.
liked it.
Oh, is that what it is? Because
well,
yeah,
I know there are a
those
couple of series that are rated like single star or half a star, and I didn't think they'd show those.
those are from what I understand, those are rated for you, like based
Okay.
on what you've rated in the past or what you've watched.
I see. I see.
Fucking Netflix, man. It's like Amazon. They're gathering data.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
They're
really weird one.
gathering data.
They know
Yeah,
you
it was.
better-
I mean, it was good plot, good overall development for a single season anime.
Action,
Not sure.
slice of life. What's
Very action oriented,
Okay.
very action.
Because
very-
that'll. I mean, obviously, action ones I bet are more expensive to produce.
all the
Uh,
fight scenes, yeah.
It's all the fight scenes and shit versus like a dude living on a farm. But okay.
Although I'd like to see like the numbers for that because I know with some action sequences it's really easy to draw the backgrounds, whereas for most like slice of life things, every scene has
Is really drawn well.
super detailed.
Yeah, that's the balance. It's a weird balance.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it.
Nice.
On to the news.
To the current events. No Man's Sky, with a post by the creator or the owner or head of the studio, I think Sean Murray is his name, was announced. We previously knew it was going to be June 2016, but it's now June 21st, and it's available for pre-order for $60.
47 if you get it on Amazon.
Oh, oh,
Because of 20%.
that's pretty
Because
good.
I already did.
Yeah, I heard some, like, he did a bunch of press after this announcement, just picking up from some podcasts and stuff. There's not going to be any, like, traditional multiplayer at launch.
What does that mean?
That means, like, you can't, Patrick, tell me your coordinates and we'll go hang out, or go to your friends list and say join their planet or something like
Oh.
that. You're not going to be able to play with your friends at launch. Like, in terms of what the multiplayer even means for the game right now, it sounds like it's more of just like the makeup of the universe. Like, if you eliminate a species and make them extinct, that will be reflected in all the players' games.
You're gonna have a lot of people doing that just so that they could have that
Yeah,
recognition.
I mean, there's a trillion planets. Knock yourself out.
But that's good. That actually does kind of. I mean, that's super interesting in a way and really, really cool. I just think that also kind of sucks because there's going to be that one guy who does it from the very first moment, and someone who joins the game like a week or so later will never, ever be able to see.
I
Dude,
feel like
that is
you're
what's so
already
awesome.
You're already not gonna see like 95% of this game. If
No,
it's
no,
true,
no,
it's the way
no,
they-
no, no, no. 99.9999%
Right, there
of
you
this
go.
game you will never ever be able to see. Like, he said that it would take like millions and millions of players playing for millions of like years to see every planet.
Yeah.
Because it's all generated from a seed, and it's like just massive.
So from what I saw, what I thought was cool on this press tour was like on the HUD menu, there's like an encyclopedia.
Mhm.
And I feel like, I don't know, it depends on how you want to play, right? Like like obviously this game is not catered to everyone, but like me, I would like want to fill that sucker up with just about everything.
So they
Like,
said
as
that
much as humanly possible.
the from the people that have played it, they said that is going to be the hook for this game. Like, that
Yeah.
is what it is. It is a survival game where you kind of collect and upgrade and make numbers go up, but it's like so much more than that because of just the way the universe is presented, and like the exploration aspect.
It looks like there are also dogfights.
They're dogfights.
With your
You can like
ships?
participate in ship battles, pirating,
God, that's so
or
freaking cool.
defending.
Yeah, and that kind of ties along to the persistence. So like you can like dig a huge hole in a planet, and if Patrick were to come up on that same planet, he would not see the hole. They were kind of like specific in what was persistent. So, but then going to the dogfights, if you destroy like a space station, that is something that would be reflected in like other people's world. And he said they had to make kind of like design choices based on the types of things that
Could be. And
yeah, and
Because
made,
someone
and
would
made
dig
sense.
various designs into a planet, and that's just
Well,
like
it's like, and you can't, yeah, and you can't like you can't track that on a server for something with 1,000,000 planets. But if you
Right.
can
Yeah.
change like a 1 to a 0, to indicate that something's
Yeah.
been destroyed, then
Yeah.
that's a different thing.
it's
Yeah.
different when you fly into a planet and all of a sudden you see dick butt.
Yeah.
It's-
And I imagine like these space stations or like the things that are permanent or aren't permanent, they're not something that you can like farm like very early on. You know what I mean? Like taking down a space station, I imagine takes
Yeah.
like
An
the
armada.
end game. Yeah, an armada, a bunch of people, or like a late game type of thing. To do
Yeah.
it to the point where it would affect other people's games.
And the goal is, I guess, still the nebulous, get to the center of the universe, which no one entirely knows how that plays out, just even from like a gameplay perspective. But
Yeah.
I'm really excited. This is getting me more juiced because it's coming out soon, and
Yeah, we got a release date.
yeah, and I like that it's like limited in scope because I just
Let's get our walking simulator crisp
yeah.
taken care of before, because like
Do you want to
this
trade?
game
Do you want
might
to finish
be-
my walking simulator? I'll finish your
No.
walking simulator.
No.
Oh gosh. Yeah, this game could be like a long-term kind of thing.
Yeah.
Uncharted Uncharted 4 delayed till May 10th from I guess it had like a April 21st or something.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, Patrick, so optimistic.
What
So-
did they say? What
So
did
naive.
they say?
They said that this was to enforce a seamless worldwide launch. So they said they need the extra manufacturing time. It's really just polish. But it's just like technically every delay is for extra time to finish up the game. Like, I mean, it's fine.
It is fine. It really is.
Yeah, it's way better than like first day patches that are rushed and all
21
that.
gigs.
Right.
You know what's not fine though? Mass Effect getting delayed to 2017. They
we-
promised me, Ben.
Did we talk about this last week?
Well, they
no, we didn't
said-
talk about this.
Oh, okay.
It was rumored that Mass Effect, not Call of Duty, Titanfall, and
Right.
their other thing, Battlefield. No, whatever.
Yeah.
They could like all by Q1 2017. that
Right.
All three would be released, but we didn't know which one was which. But
Patrick, I would have bet you a kidney that it was going to be released in
I know.
2017.
I know.
Is
Is it weird that we haven't heard anything about this game still, even though it's like about a year out now? Like Horizon Zero Dawn, Last of Us, even Uncharted, we got like a got a decent look at what they were.
I think
We had
we're
no idea-
living in a post Fallout 4 world.
Yeah, I
where
was about to
these
say Fallout 4 only had like 2 or 3 months worth of.
Yeah, but is EA
Downtime.
the company to do this too? Like,
I-
well, Bethesda, everyone loves Bethesda.
I
EA doesn't have the reputation it used to have, but it's
I think they're
still-
gonna wait till E3 and then they're gonna release.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
everything.
cool. I think people are starting to catch on to these extended marketing cycles starting to be fatiguing. Like, I mean, the No Man's Sky was just just kind of sad, like just how long that was drawn out.
Not just that. This game is, I mean, a year out is a long time for development. So anything that they could and possibly will show us eventually will change or might change anyway.
I guess
even
by the
just
final
like
product.
cinematics though, or a premise. We got one cinematic, but that was like almost a year and a half ago.
That's true.
right. I guess short answer would be I'm not worried about it.
Okay, I was not necessarily worried, but I just do think it's neat because I know Dishonored 2 is supposed to come out this year too. We haven't had a single word after that trailer. About the same time, I think the Mass Effect trailer was released, and
That's true.
that's
but-
Bethesda, so I imagine that one's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean Dishonored, but if you think about it, Dishonored was featured at the exact same time Fallout was, and Fallout came out in like 6 months later. So it's actually like
It's true.
that's like a bunch of time for Dishonored kind of
That's
thing.
very true. That's very true.
Which is kind of cool to think about.
Anyways.
Nintendo Direct took place on
Super hyped.
March 3rd. Take us on a Monster Hunter walk, Christian. Why should we join the Monster Hunters?
Oh my gosh. I picked it up on a whim because I'd heard just so many positive things about Monster Hunter.
Yep.
And I totally thought that there was just this big hype train. I'd pick up the game, I'd play it for a couple of hours, and then I'd be done. No, I can't put it down sometimes, man.
This, from what I've read, because I'm sure you've read something similar too, because we researched 3DS games. They said this game you can put hundreds of hours into.
Mm-hmm.
That's like scary for a handheld.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's due to the fact that there's no real linear path for you to take. There's a storyline.
It's a
but at the
massive
end of the
loot
day,
game, right?
Yeah, it's a quest-based loot game. And so, like, how many hours did we sink into Phantasy Star, Ian? We sank hundreds of hours.
A lot.
And this is the same premise, except every single quest is like a new monster to beat that you've never seen before with unique animations. And it's so cool because some of these monsters are actually like larger than life, like Shadow of the Colossus style, just massive beings. And it's cinematic. It's fun to play. I mean, the controls are a little wonky to a degree because it's hard to do that kind of advanced action gameplay on something as small as a handheld, but
Sure.
once you get used to the controls,
And
it's
I've heard that there's been a lot of support from the developers for free DLC that keeps adding new stuff.
Yeah, they
So
add
that's good
quests
too.
and quest lines, and it's all free. You just download them straight from the
So I guess the way this ties into the Direct is that the newest Monster Hunter game, Monster Hunter X, came out in Japan, I guess recently, and it was announced that Monster Hunter Generations, the American version or the Western version, was going to be released this summer.
Yep.
Have you heard anything about this Monster Hunter?
It features pretty much the same weapons that came with Monster Hunter 4. Just brand new creatures. There are like flagship monsters that they include in every game, and they cycle through the flagship monsters every other game, but there's maybe like 4 to 8 recognizable monsters apparently that they keep in, and you could fight from game to game. They added a whole bunch of new fighting styles. They're called like Hunter Arts, which are really super combat abilities that weren't in the original 4U that they released. I'm trying to think of what else. There are a couple of changes, and there are a lot of.
So I imagine it's just like the sequel, basically.
Yeah.
Quality
It's
of
just
life,
building.
new classes, new monsters, but it's just an
Same old
updated
formula.
sequel. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I guess there have been probably 6 or 7 Monster Hunter games, I think.
Yep.
Other news, the Super Mario World and other Super Nintendo games are coming to the new 3DS. What is that storefront called? The Nintendo
Network?
virtual store, yeah, where they do like emulation. And previously it had only been NES games that were emulated, and now just on the new 3DS only, they're doing some new like legendary Super Nintendo games,
which is super cool. Like,
yeah, I mean,
SNES had some of the best games.
They did the Yoshi Mario game. I've never played Yoshi's Island.
Link to
I
the
imagine
Past,
that one's coming along the lines too, but there's a lot of good shit on there.
Donkey Kong Country, Earthbound, F-Zero.
The Pokemon games are something else that they brought out for the emulators, and I guess that'll tie into the next thing from Nintendo Direct. But all those Pokemon games will be coming from the original Red and Blue all the way up to your latest series. They're all going to be available for you to play on your new 3DS. And along with that...
Do people buy those?
Yes, and there's a reason. Because the Pokemon Bank that you can use to transport Pokemon between versions will apply to all of those games that you can play in the emulator.
Whoa.
How could you even play that much Pokemon?
So, like, you saying Blastoise from 1 can be imported into
all the way up. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I didn't
So
comprehend
you
this.
could actually catch them all, because like that was
Yes.
always the joke, right? Like
Yep.
the slogan is "catch them all," but you could never fucking catch them all.
It's
That's a
not
fucking lie.
It's not a joke, man. It's deadly serious.
No, but it was a joke
Yeah,
for all
you're
these
right.
games because you couldn't do it.
Mhm.
There would only be 100 or 200 out
Because
of
you'd
the
have to go
700.
from version to version, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, aside from the latest Sun and Moon, which I'm assuming you'd have to buy both games, but yes, the Pokemon Bank will allow you to trade from everything coming up
That
from
is
those emulator versions.
So when you say trade, you just mean like transport.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, not trade. Yeah.
No, I was about to say it's like, okay, but it's the same thing.
Wait, but
uh,
you can trade Pokemon in some of these games. So what would keep you from trading?
Some people don't have those games from way back when, or the original cartridges that you had for like Ruby and Sapphire or Gold and Silver.
Well, I mean, like,
So-
so the game that you can trade is X and Y, right? Like,
All
could
of
trade.
them.
I could trade with you on the internet though with X and Y.
Oh yeah.
So what if I brought my Blastoise into my Pokemon X and Y? I feel like there's a chance I could then trade that Blastoise to you.
Oh, yeah, you could do
through
that.
X and Y. Okay.
Dude, that's what that subreddit's for, man.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
gonna be a nice guy who's like, can you still do the missing no do on red and blue?
Yeah. the
Emulators?
glitch.
Can you or no? Did they fix
I
it?
haven't. I'm not aware.
Dude,
Maybe
that'd be
they
fucking
did,
crazy.
but I think that'd be funny because you could just copy a whole bunch of Master Balls.
Master
That's good.
balls and fucking rare candies. Anyways, but no, that really is crazy.
Yeah. So if you really wanted to, and you're a huge Pokemon diehard, you can actually go through all of those, get the Pokemon that you want from them, and then transport them up and up and up. Because there are certain things that did change from generation to generation, like move sets and specific moves that a Pokemon could learn
Mhm.
that didn't transfer over from generations. So if you had a Charizard from like generation 2 to 4, it could learn a specific move that it couldn't learn in generations 5 and up, and you could just transport that one straight in.
Nice.
So it's nice. I guess to go inside with them doing the whole, because it's the 20th year for Pokemon.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
We're
they're
so
doing-
old.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it is.
So for
Yeah,
any of
we
our
are.
fans who play, they're doing a year-long thing where every month you can download a legendary Pokemon level 100 from either the Nintendo Network or going to a GameStop. And the really good legendaries.
Can you
are
do
only-
that without having the game?
What do you mean?
A game?
Oh,
Like I don't have.
Yeah,
the
you would need
Pokemon.
to have like one of the Pokemon games to
Mm.
download those.
I don't think I'm gonna do that.
It's too many pocket
Yeah.
monsters.
Too many Pokemon.
700 plus now.
Patrick, tell us about Minecraft 1.9.
Okay, real quick. I think it's cool because Minecraft 1.9 just got released, and it's the first major update to the game since the Microsoft acquisition.
It's a long time ago. Were they normally that far separated?
No, it'd normally be 3 or 4 months, maybe a little bit longer, maybe like 4 to 5 to 6 months between versions. This was like almost 2 years. This is like a year and a half.
Jeez.
So it is a long cycle. 1.8 came out in September, so it's about a year, a little bit more. But before then, they were really short. But it adds a whole lot. It added a whole lot. They overhauled the combat, added a bunch of new sounds, some new mobs.
Dual wielding? Is this the dual wielding
They
one?
did some dual wielding. They have cooldowns on attacking, so you can't like spam it.
Is that why add that?
I don't know.
I heard that and I was like, why does that game need that? But I'm sure there's a reason.
I guess they tried to add to the depth of combat because like combat was kind of strange. It's kind of weird.
That's why it's awesome though. It's like,
Yeah, because it's like
so
'cause it's a clusterfuck.
it's so silly. It's just
Yeah.
the silliest.
And then they changed the dragon fight, which is really cool. But it's pretty neat. They added some new stuff, and I don't know. Like I was just really excited. I play a little bit still, not near as much as I used to, but I like to try out these new features, and the game still growing, still going strong.
I just realized how much news we actually have.
So much.
I'm gonna trim some of these.
Okay. All right, lead us through which ones you want to cover.
Okay. So, let's talk about Rock Band 4 on PC trying to get funded through Fig, which is the new crowdfunding platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I watched their campaign video. So the whole ordeal is that Harmonix wants to keep working on like features for Rock Band, and they want to hire this third-party developer to port the game over to PC. And
Which
they
is
want go ahead.
Those games have never been on PC before too,
Nope.
which is
Yep.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
Guitar Hero, Rock Band, never been on PC.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, they need $1.5 million to do it. And they've funded 23% in I think the 6 days that the campaign's been active, and they really want to integrate the Steam Workshop with something they call a Rock Band Network, which allows artists to upload their own music and like edit it through the game or something like that to like make them playable, and then they can sell it, which I think is a really cool feature.
That's awesome. That's
And
really
the Steam
cool.
Workshop is I imagine a lot of people use the Steam Workshop. So
Oh yeah,
hmm
yeah.
I like have friends that would upload their own music to this. The one thing for me that stuck out was that I feel like Harmonix is in. It's just they're in a pretty bad way that they have to do this. Like I saw like a lot of people were saying that this was like shady and they shouldn't need to crowdfund like this type of project. They should be able to get funding, and crowdfunding is supposed to be for people that need the money. But I think Harmonix genuinely needs the money. Like I don't think Rock Band. I feel like they produced Rock Band on like a shoestring budget, and it didn't. The comeback didn't produce the type of buzz that they were hoping, and I think it's been a while since they've had a big success. So I think that this is kind of like a natural move for them.
do you guys think it'll get funded?
I have no idea. I don't think people like plastic instruments anymore.
Yeah, it's a weird, especially like the whole PC. Like it's one thing to have it on a console where everybody's kind of in the same room and you can jam out like that, but PC is a weird.
Yeah.
It's an odd choice.
PC is not a couch co-op.
No.
Yeah.
Which is like honest. I don't like saying like this is the best way to experience games, but like with Rock Band, come on.
I mean,
That is
yeah,
the only way to experience Rock
That's
Band, really.
in the living room with the drum set. You got the snacks, the big screen, and jam out to some David Bowie. It's not like in the office.
Right.
on my chair.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tougher sell for sure, and that might be why they're trying to gauge interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is interesting. I didn't even hear about this. So, Patrick, you saw that EA makes a massive amount of money on microtransactions.
Yeah. So this Forbes article covered that like it's been projected that in 2015 EA made 1.3 billion dollars in non-game related money generating means, basically DLC and
Right.
microtransactions. What's really cool is that
This is 2015 too.
2015, half of them are generated half of it is generated through their Ultimate Team microtransaction program, which is basically like your FIFA, Maddens, and all that stuff.
Gosh.
And so like I kind of knew those games. Like Nick has NBA 2K, right?
What are
Right.
those
Like, you can, like,
microtransactions?
And that's not
you
even
can, like,
EA though.
I know, but like this is the only way I know about microtransactions in sports games. Is like with your own character, you can like buy money or generate money in game to like make your stats better.
Fuck that. That is
So-
so shady.
I imagine that's how it works with this FIFA and Madden business. But seeing $650 million,
That's gross.
and I'm not a huge like sports games fan. Like it's just like the idea of them is like it's weird. Like it's the same game every year, but like a lot of people fucking buy it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love me some FIFA, but if I'm paying $60 to get a game that was like marginally improved from the previous year and just has been like pushed at me just so I can get the new rosters every single year for like 20 years, I'm not trying to like get gouged for microtransactions. Like I already think $60 is overpriced. Man, their stock price must be doing real good if they can
Right.
just.
They're making a killing.
That's quite the business model because they have the
Holy
licenses,
crap.
I think, for the
Yeah.
players for like the NFL and for soccer. So it's like they don't even have any competition.
And do you see? I'm sorry. Like people get up in arms about the Arkham Knight's $40 season pass. Do you see people complaining about these microtransactions?
No.
I mean, it's just not part of the same crowd.
Yeah, it's just like it's just happening and people are okay with it. I'm not saying it's a crime we should start getting trend on Twitter, but like I don't know.
I
It's,
mean,
it's weird that you don't hear about this as much.
that's interesting because I wonder if like the type of gamers that, I mean, I don't want to stereotype, but a lot of people will only play one game and it's like Madden, and if they're not like in touch with the community to raise a big stink, like it's not going to get addressed.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's kind of silly. Like, I don't know, maybe I don't know what the DLC is or what the add-in content is for Madden, but I find that to be crazy. I also
I doubt it's cosmetics.
right. Yeah,
I
like
doubt it's cosmetics.
one thing I could see this encouraging them to do is make those games free to play though. Like it's
Yeah.
long past time that FIFA just becomes a platform where the roster's always getting updated and
You just pay a $30 subscription.
yeah, or something.
Yeah.
Or you just have to,
maybe an update every couple of years,
Yeah.
but not every year.
or like the DLC is just the new game or something. I don't know. Like you just shouldn't have to like buy a disc for
Yeah.
each year just so you can play the latest.
But what about your
rosters.
library?
It's like your shelf that you're so proud of with
Where's
every
my
year.
what about my
FIFA.
shelves? Ugh, I hate my digital copies.
They
I
hate you
so
too.
much. I know.
There was a Ghostbusters trailer released and everyone hates it.
Everyone hates.
So
I liked it.
I
liked it.
didn't know this was coming out so soon.
Yeah, this summer.
So this is the all-female Ghostbusters that I guess people have been talking about for a while.
Right.
It's starring Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Chris
Kate
Hemsworth,
McKinnon,
Kate McKinnon,
Leslie Jones.
Leslie Jones. So I guess we're talking about it because the YouTube video got
The internet.
the
basically. So the internet didn't like this idea since it was first mentioned that this was happening. Like the
Really?
first shit show, the first shit show, when they said we're making an all-female Ghostbusters thing, the internet was in an upstorm, like up in arms about it, saying like fuck that, fuck this, everything's fucked, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then like I know a little bit about this, and so like the publishing team was like, dude, it's okay, it's not a sequel, it's like a reboot. We're distancing ourselves from like the original, like it's a totally different thing.
Is that why people are so mad?
Yeah, I think they just don't like the fact that Ghostbusters is being tarnished.
Because yeah, I got 18 million views, 317,000 dislikes, 158,000 likes. Oh man, I thought that trailer was real bad.
I did too.
It
You know,
was-
actually, okay, so there is that entire thing. They made it an all-female cast, and not just that, they have like the one black actress in there, and
That's
apparently,
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
okay, we're gonna talk about that.
Oh,
okay.
is that what we're doing? Because
I
Alright,
figured we
bring
tied
it
in with.
it
with
is
black-
so fucking like silly that the whole point is to have like an all-female diverse cast.
Yes.
And you have the freaking 3 brainiac white scientist women and the street one, the one black Ghostbuster is there to show them how to get through the streets of New York City.
Yes.
And it's just like you couldn't write a more like tropey like bullshit premise for like your 4 Ghostbusters. And it's like
my god.
I mean, okay, hold on. Not defense. Holy shit, that makes me look bad. in the original Ghostbusters team,
That was
it
the
was something
case.
similar.
It's
Winston
right.
was like, I'm just trying to make some money for like, and you guys had a job opening, and they're like, fuck it, you're hired, Winston.
And that movie was 32 years ago. So nothing has changed in like
Nothing
32
has changed,
years.
but I didn't think anyone had a problem with it back then. I don't know. I'm not someone to say like America is overly sensitive these days, because fucking America's so goddamn oversensitive about if you say something like that.
Right.
But like, I didn't think it was that a big deal, and that's not what I thought of when I saw this trailer.
This is the exact point of Oscars So White, though. Like, that the roles aren't there for, like, serious actors that in minorities. Like, if it's a black actress, she has to play the street Ghostbuster. And there's, like, a statistics for the 8 the 8 black women that have won Oscars for supporting actress or actress were all portraying roles of black women in poverty. Like,
But
there's no roles for them
understand.
other than these like super stereotypical roles, and it's
But
just like
why does that? The problem
No,
I have
you
with
know-
that is like are the stories that I don't know, like those stories or those roles that lend themselves to deliver performances are based on like historical. I don't know. I don't have the list in front of me, but I imagine they are interesting stories that were. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean,
Yeah.
and it's just I think it's just like just categorically like wrong. I guess like if you think about like all the movies that got nominated for Best Picture, like Mad Max, The Martian, Spotlight's True Story, so that doesn't really count. Like, but like that's not like fair. I guess that like the heroines or the like it's like the fucking Moses movie by Ridley Scott where
Yeah, or
what's his name? Christian Bale plays.
Or that's yeah. So we're talking. There are
Prince
3
of-
movies I want to bring up with that. The Noah's Ark movie, the God's Exodus.
Is that the
movie.
one with Emma Watson?
The
Yeah.
one with Steve Carell.
No.
Oh, okay.
That was the Russell Crowe one where he plays.
Yeah, where he plays
Moses.
Noah.
Not Moses. Jesus Christ. Oh no, he's someone else. Anyways, and then there's recently the Gods of Egypt one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Gerard Butler plays an Egyptian
Yeah.
god, and it's like.
Well, not just Gerard Butler, like that entire cast.
Yeah, but those movies are like, obviously those aren't gonna get Oscar nominated performances because they're just bad. But like,
the Oscars are supposed to be a reflection of like Hollywood, though. Like those movies aren't. Like they're still just. I think it's the same thing. Like good movie or bad movie. I think it's the same problem. Like, I think that the non-Oscar buzz movies just do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just like a total like just laziness in terms of
yeah,
casting.
I mean, I'm not trying to like discredit the African American race or the Oscars or whoever it means, but like I just try to remember in my head the last time I saw like someone win, a black actress win an Academy Award, and I think it was either Viola Davis or Octavia Spencer for their roles in The Help, right?
Right.
I mean,
It's dude, but it's
why
like
why would I picture Viola Davis like winning an Oscar for anything else? I that sounds really bad, but like I'm just trying to think of another normal like what you would consider best actress, and like
There were 20 nominations for actresses in like the last 2 years, and they were just like all white. It's just like there's no way all those roles were like not. There's so many of them had to have been minority neutral. But it's also just like it's not just the diversity thing with this Ghostbusters. Like it's just lazy like in every facet. Like in the like. In that it doesn't progress anything that the original movie did, that the casting is like stereotypical as fuck, that
Not to mention the Ecto one looks more dated than the original one.
and like the jokes are so lowbrow. Like
yeah, it's
So,
low hanging
okay.
fruit.
and the original
And
Ghostbusters
here's-
was a dry comedy. Like it had wit.
Here is me. I know it sounds like I'm defending the shit out of this movie.
Someone's
but
got to play devil's advocate. This would be a boring podcast if
I
no one
defended Fantastic Four, so like, it's fine. I have a bad track record. But Paul Feig is responsible for a lot of pretty decent comedies, Bridesmaids, and Spy, and a lot of those like female-driven comedies that we've been seeing a lot lately. And like Spy looked awful. Spy looked really, really bad. It's the Melissa McCarthy movie where she plays like a spy, and we've seen plenty of like those incompetent spy movies, right? With like Mordecai and all this other stuff. But like Spy on Rotten Tomatoes got like a 97 from critics, saying like it was really, really good. And even though the trailers made it look like so cringy and made it look like a Melissa McCarthy post Bridesmaids cash in, like he's a competent director.
Right.
Like he's a good comedy director that he's got a track record of some pretty funny stuff.
Yeah, and like I think some of the people in the comments were complaining that it felt like Spy and not like Ghostbusters, the trailer. But like that doesn't bother me so much. Like, I don't know. I mean, that's mostly probably because Ghostbusters isn't sacred to me or anything. But I just didn't think the jokes were funny. Like,
Yeah.
they just didn't look like the actors looked like they just like were just.
And that's what I'm hoping this movie can deliver on. I love Kate McKinnon with all my heart. Like,
She's good.
She is one of the most talented. I watch SNL quite a bit, and I light up whenever I see her go. So like, I want her to succeed. I want to see Kristen Wiig in another like comedy. I haven't seen her in one in a while. And I mean, I'll watch Melissa McCarthy in mostly anything.
So I share all your sentiments, but that doesn't affect like my impression of the trailer.
Oh, you're right. The trailer was
Yeah.
bad. Holy shit, the trailer was bad. But I'm hoping this movie is
we're
good.
agreed on that.
The trailer's bad. The trailer really
You're
is.
hoping the movie is better.
I hope the movie is better, and I'm
See,
pulling
like-
for the movie to be better.
I'm all for what Ian's been saying. You know, like they're really good, but throwing them into something where there's already an established plot is something that is why I'm so hesitant about this. Because Ghostbusters, yeah, it had its jokes, but at the same time, like there was just something about the original. It's weird to me, but I just really couldn't get into the groove of this. And I'm not hyped at all, which might be good because that means I don't have any expectations going in.
True.
So, you know, if I don't have any expectations, it might be better than what I actually thought it could be.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I defended Fantastic Four. Still haven't seen it. And if this movie's bad, I'll be like, well, fuck, I'm wrong again.
Fan four stick.
Fan Four Stick 4.
Yeah, I need to go find some analysis that's not the internet on this trailer, just because I'm just curious what more reactions were.
I quickly added one last thing, real quick. Rocket League launches their official championship series. I think it's really good for the esport because before then it was just like third parties like hosting shitty tournaments. So they're launching it. It's like published by Psyonix. They've got a $75,000 pool in their first run. They're gonna run it through Twitch. Hopefully they bring out like really good broadcasting production values, and like I could be down if the cameras are good. Like if they can like make a third party camera to like watch a game and not following one car, I think it would be really fun to watch.
I'm so curious, like what
maybe
the
just like
casting
a
is gonna be
ball
like.
view?
Casting, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like-
like even they have a ball view and like they have a replay system. I hope it's not like that.
I don't think it
Right,
will be. I'm curious, yeah, like what the quality of casting will be. Have they said if it's 1v1 or 3v3 or?
I haven't. They might be
It
all
could-
over the place.
Yeah, it
but
probably is, but no,
shit could be really cool.
that's
I
definitely.
think it'd probably end up being a 3v3 because the 1v1's kind of boring to watch.
that's
1v1s. My roommates play 1v1s. They are fucking crazy.
Are they?
That is a mind. It's a mind game.
Yeah.
Like, because if you fuck up, then the other guy gets the ball. So it's a lot of like posturing, and it's like and then when shit goes down, you're like fuck.
no mistakes.
No
Right.
You
mistakes.
get punished.
I guess it's just more fun because there's more people involved in a 3v3 to me.
Yeah, 3v3 does set up some cool shit. So
Okay. We got another long one today, but we're gonna quickly cue the topic. I wanted to do something non-games related this week, and I've been reading a bunch of historical books and whatnot. So the question is, if you could go back in time to any point in the world at any time, I guess that's redundant.
Any part of the world at any time?
Right. Where would you go and what would you do? Or where would you go and why?
do you want to go first?
What's to start? Yeah, I was about to say.
I like have an answer, and I feel like I could be regretting it, but I think I don't want to go anywhere recently because that's boring.
Let's go plague. Let's go
yeah.
plague.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to do like ancient Greece.
Yeah.
Because I thought that they're so absurdly ahead of their time, and like they were philosophical and artsy in a time without like
Alright.
the internet and like
Yeah.
and like all the things that we have now. So I feel like it would have been more like
They were pretentious without Facebook and Twitter.
yeah,
Yeah,
like they just
yeah.
actually just like they weren't doing it for they could have been doing it for credit and recognition, but it sounds like they had like a quieter, more like contemplative and respectful way about their times. And I didn't want to go anywhere that was like there's not a lot of options where it's like civilized. Like I don't want to be struggling
No,
to
I know.
eat
I'm
and
trying
stuff.
to think too.
But I'm sure like the history portrayal of ancient Greece has nothing to do with like in reality you probably don't want to go anywhere. You want to stay where you are right now. But
Yeah. I'm gonna go with, I guess, like the early part of the Cold War, like when America was like the greatest fucking country in the world, like undeniable.
What do you mean
like,
was?
Like, well, like the age of
Oh.
like this nuclear family, like
It's true.
it's like the 60s or something. It's like 50s or 60s,
A
or
lot
maybe even
of
70s.
very nationalistic.
Very nationalistic. It was just like America's the greatest.
Talking
Someone
about,
else.
like, when we were booming. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like an age of like
Do you think
technology bursts and quality of life like boosts, and everyone could afford everything.
TV dinners?
TV dinners type, it's just like holistic, smiley.
Radio, TV, or radio
Yeah.
shows anyway.
Yeah, everyone curled around the radio to like listen to fucking.
Was it Reagan or who did the fireside chats?
I know, I don't
Was
know.
it Nixon? I think it
We're
was
awful
Nixon.
Americans. I thought the fireside chats were supposed to be like really nice.
They were.
Nixon is
Or
not.
no, it was FDR, I think. Yeah, it was FDR.
Then fuck yeah, FDR is cool. I like him.
That was the 30s and early 40s.
So
Yeah,
Oh God, is it my turn? Fuck.
it's gonna happen. So you better think.
Yeah, no,
carefully.
I actually did have something, but as opposed to Ben's "Let's take it safely," I would like to see pre-Meiji Restoration Japan, where we still had wandering samurai and people walking around with swords.
Oh my gosh.
oh man, Christian, you might have to go get birthright. Don't get conquest anymore. You're gonna feel bad killing the samurai.
Samurai is such a weird thing.
Yeah,
I'm-
that's such
You
an
guys watch The Last Samurai?
Yes.
I like that movie a lot.
Are we
I
gonna
like
talk about
Tom
another
Cruise.
one where we have like this one random white guy in the middle of Japan?
I feel like yeah, I know.
Why do you have to? Why did?
That was so
That's not what
dumb.
I thought, though.
So-
It's not like why.
It's
Am I
true.
just super ignorant that I don't think about this? Like I just think it was cool that Japan.
No, it was a good
recruited-
movie.
Japan recruited this civil war or no post Civil War, someone who like routed out nationalistic indigenous people, and like that makes perfect sense.
I don't know how it works because like politics and shit is exhausting, and I don't know.
Did you guys know Ken Watanabe, who plays the main Japanese character on that movie? You guys remember him?
Yeah.
The Inception.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
he has stomach cancer.
Does he?
Oh, that is a
Oh shit.
bummer.
I know. Sorry.
2016 is a shitty year for actors
know.
and
I know.
comics
I
and
like it.
performers in
I
general.
love him, man. In that movie, he's fucking amazing. Sorry to bring everyone down.
He had successful treatment
Oh, good.
as of 1 day ago.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I got
good.
really dark for a second.
Isn't Total Biscuit also on kind of the remission pathway? I thought like he got better and then he got worse and then he got better again.
I think he's on the worst. Yeah, I think he's got like, I think what he has is terminal, but like, I don't think he's gonna die anytime soon. I think it's just like that kind of depressing.
That's gonna suck.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, close us out before we get even darker.
Oh wow.
That was a really shitty ending.
I could just edit it out. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you everyone so much for listening. We do audio every Monday.
It's
Please-
not always this bad, I swear.
It's true. We're happy people. Please leave feedback on iTunes. You can find the archive at freebrunchgaming.com, at fig_TV, at cmonkey2eyes, and at freebrunch on Twitter. Farewell, everyone.
See you guys.
Peace.
That's so good.